Hi everybody. Who likes leftovers? I do. And today's page is created using leftovers. Those things that you have hanging around your studio that you haven't used, that's what we're using. And we're going to be working in my accidental art journal. We're going to make marvelous out of the discarded, out of the leftovers. So this is a composition book, and as you can see, I've got pages that have been developed over time using leftovers, leftover paints. I use a stencil when I have it out, and something marvelous comes out of it. So I've got a lot of pages in here that are half done, quarter done. The background might be completely done, and they're great to use as a great jump start to an art journaling session. So I have this one, and you know what? Wasn't loving it. It started out, there was tissue paper there and some stenciling. Like the yellow and pink together, it got very grungy. So you know what? I'm using this stencil, which I had out from another project. It is the stained glass stencil, and I'm using white acrylic paint, and I'm not even being that careful in stenciling too carefully. I just want to knock back some of this and see if I can turn it into a background that will inspire me. So again, another stencil that I had out finishing. This is the screen view stencil, and I'm using the pink. I'm trying to stick to the colors that are there, but I want to brighten this up a little bit. I want to be able to get it to a point where I know what the next step is. So my goal here, I just had loose paint. I was going to just use the paint, use the white gesso to just do another layer on this page. But I ended up finishing the page because I did get inspired. Now this is a sink liner that I got from the dollar store, and I'm using black acrylic paint. Now normally when I've used this, I have used it with white to brighten the page. And yes, I know I said I was going to brighten this page, but this is where the page led me. I'm adding more grunge. I'm giving this some contrast, which it very much needed. And I'm loving how this adds to it. It makes the yellows a little bit brighter, the pinks a little bit brighter. It's still kind of a vintage grunge page. But hey, I had fun creating. So the acrylic paint that's on this sink liner is silicone. It just throw it in the sink, spray it with your Murphy's oil salt, and it comes off. So there is my basic background. And as it's the case, when I get to this point and I'm not sure where I want, I typically edge the page. I shade all the way around, frame the page, and make an assessment about whether I think it's ready for the focal image. So basically this is a three color scheme: the quinacridone magenta, the Naples yellow, and black. I'm just adding a little bit more of the stenciling there just to tweak it. Just thought I needed something. And I'm going to splatter it with gold. This is just regular Liquitex Basics gold paint that I have thinned down with water. And I'm splattering with my fan brush. Yum. Now I'm happy with the background. Now I want to put the focal images, and I thought I would draw some circles just to add another layer or something of interest. And then I thought, okay, well, what am I going to put in the circles? I had these butterflies that I had stamped out in a stash builder session, so I thought, you know what, I'm going to make 3 circles and put butterflies on them. And then that's just going to give a little bit more weight to each of the focal images. So I'm just positioning them. Now this is a Fisker's template, circle template, and I love it, and I have used it and used it. You can definitely trace around bottle tops and lids if that's what you have. But I surprised myself. Now my plan was to put three circles through butterflies on this page. And when I get to this, I go, maybe not. Maybe I'm going to put two butterflies with two circles, and then my sentiment, and that will be three focal images. So I grabbed my Winged Wonders sentiment pack and looked in the folder to see what I had. Remember, it's all about what's left over. What is available? What I did not take anything that wasn't within hand's reach. Either was leftover paint that would dry up, so why not use it, or something that I already had in my stash that I printed out for another thing and didn't use it, so it's there. I picked the sentiment, trust your wings. I'm cutting off some of the white and then, cutting this into three parts. When you have a digital download like that, you can cut it however you want. So now, since I traced those circles with my Inktense pencil, I'm activating that with water and my angle brush. And if I want it darker, I'm adding a little bit of black acrylic paint to shade with. You still see your background, but you've added something of interest to the page. This could be any shape, but I love circles. Now, when I have things in my stash, I might fussy cut around it, but the finer parts I leave till I am ready to glue it down. So that's a storage tip. If you cut around every little last bit, those fine intricate parts, they tend to rip and get tangled. So I'm really happy with my decision to not put three butterflies. Use the sentiment as the third element on the page. I think it really works. And I love using black and white stamped images on colorful pages. If you wanted to paint this right now, you could very easily. I'm putting a coat of matte medium on it, and then I would go in with either Inktense blocks or acrylic paint. But the gel medium or fluid medium is making it so non-porous. So it won't soak into the paper and you'll more easily paint. So now I am doing the finishing part of the page, and I'm shading around the sentiment, the butterflies, just like you saw me shade or edge the page earlier. I highly recommend getting and creating an accidental art journal like this to collect all those little bits of leftover paint, leftover tissue paper, use those stencils twice before you clean them, leftover modeling paste, what have you. And I will link the video where I show how I prep this composition book. It's in the iCards, and it'll be at the end of the video as well. So I'm just adding a little bit more black to shade around this. And then I get the idea to highlight on the outside, just to make those circles stand out and make them look a little more 3D. Did you like it better before I did this? Or do you like the white? I think it makes it turns it from a circle into a bubble. If you like it, do the same as me. If you don't like it, leave it out. You've got options. And then I'm splattering with white because I've got white and that's left over. So I want to use everything up. And there is the background the way it was. And here are close-ups of the finished page. Not bad for leftovers. So before you let that paint dry, before you throw out that piece of napkin or tissue paper, think twice. Leftovers can make beautiful things. Until next time, go get creative.